Hello. All right, I think we got it now. Holy mackerel. I don't know what the problem was there. So, it is Roller Wiener Monday, and thank you for that. I see that the sound wasn't on, so let's get the wiener back up there. Always first with the wieners. And thank you for being here. Boy, it's just really something. Holy mackerel. Trinity Logistics Group, they closed. Did you know that? Well, you did if you work there because you're out of a job. 102 drivers no longer working. All right. There's a Hyundai fuel cell truck. Let's talk about it. Are we going to see Hyundai cabovers all over America? It could happen. Pace headed up for everybody again. Yikes. I've got some rates and stocks. There's a lot going on, of course, in the industry. So all that is happening as I finally get the sound coming out and doing clickings. And there we go. So there it is. All right. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but we're going to say it's a YouTube issue. So that's what I'll just say that it is. Yeah. So where did we go off to here? Oh, right here. So let's see. What am I looking at here? Oh, I didn't pop this out. Holy moly. What a day is happening here. So popping out. And that gets the chat bigger. That's popping out the chat so it's bigger so I can read it. Because once you get in your extreme upper 30s, it's hard to read. Not the illiterate part of it, but the size part of it. So today I had Misty was first. And so thank you for that. You were in way earlier than other people who thought they were first. Christina here today, beating Trucker Hershey. Thank you for that. Night Ranger is here. And Sister Christian also here. Let's see where we go. Alexandra, hello. I see that they got a raise, and I have a slide about that. Eddie, what's happening? A party raise, which I love. You only get a raise when there's parties. There may be a scam happening with your email. Phishing attempt, right? Did you get that message? Nice. So, Wilbon, hello there. The president is here. George H.W. Bush. Hello there today. Columbia George, greetings to you. Imperial NYC, what's happening? Nikita, oh, that was a great show too. Hello, what's happening? Is that the real Nikita, right? Susie Q, I think is her name, Stacy Q. Lucky Landscape, what's happening? Start a landscape company, didn't work out. Had to cut your losses. How about that? Like topiary, get it? All right. Jim Trucker, hello there. Chicken hauler, what's happening? Topiary, topiary? I don't know. Kenneth Snyder, it's been a while. You're back. Nothing's happening? Well, I am glad that you're here. So thank you for that. And Marie Cunningham, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's good to see you today. Let's see, where am I at here? Right, Misty logged in way early, 4 hours ago. So let's see. Video and good after pictures at Daily Mail. Oh, right. I did see a train hit a truck. That was in Indianapolis or something, right? Yeah, that was something. What are we getting stuck on the tracks for here? That truck did get crispy. Well, looks like your landing gear was not cranked all the way up. On time this week, Luke? Yeah, on time, sort of. No, the sound was late. The Bullholland Bulldog, hello there. Night Rider Trucker from Joppa, Missouri, over by our friends there. What's happening in Springfield? The driver was distracted. Yeah, there was another large accident, too, of a distracted driver. Traffic stop, just run into everybody. I mean, come on. We got to be paying attention. Holy mackerel. It's been a while, but I'm back. Kenneth Snyder, I'm back to that. Where'd I go off to? Darnell, hello. Jerry, time for chicken and watermelon from Alabama. Yeah, I'm in. Right, where's all this going on? Bring it on. Ralph, good afternoon. Yeah, getting fancy with the pictures. I'm so fancy with them that there's no sound on them, though. So that's great. This one is fully dressed out. Yeah, we got to get the fully dressed. Some people complained that, I should turn the sound off of that. That'd be a good idea. We're saying that the other one was somewhat sloppy. You can't always have a sloppy wiener. Sometimes you want it better dressed, right? So this one's all set up for an evening out. Hey, Mark, what's up? Did you hear there's another trucking company that just went out of business? Yeah, Trinity Logistics. Yeah, they're out, and they were in Texas. They've gone belly up. My take is they went belly up. I mean, it's another case of companies not following the WARN Act, the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act. So they did not follow that. They would be required to tell the drivers, give them 60 days. drivers are supposed to get paid for 60 days then if you don't tell them. Will they? Probably not. It's just not enforced. It's nothing that is enforced. Kelly, Josh from This Guy Trucks had problem yesterday. Oh, really? So he had a sound problem too? So it's just maybe because the two of us did that video together, so we are both affected, possibly. Maybe. It could be a conspiracy. Maybe. We must fix this for our next president, Mark. Yeah, somebody needs to. I need a tech, somebody in charge of tech here, apparently. Racket Maker, hello from Alabama. Pull a wiener. Maybe your wieners were in your ears and you couldn't hear it. Why can't they get the temperature right for the good beef hot dogs? Just after they're done, they begin to look old and dry. You got to get them at just the right time. Just when they move that sign that says, we're almost done, we're still rolling or whatever, that's when you got to hit them right there. It's Rob Lowe from Prime. She convinced Google to censor information. Trucking Tales. That might be, that I wouldn't put that too far past. That's for sure. D-Boy611, hello there. Good afternoon to you. You're supposed to pull that wiener out of some other. Yeah, always take your wieners out of wherever they are. Put them away and then get on the show. We can hear you great. Thank you. George Wilson has said that. America doesn't do cab overs. Well, Hyundai thinks you might. Hyundai says maybe it's time to do cab overs. They're exporting them to a couple of countries now, like Sweden, home of ABBA. So that would be great. But they said that by next year, they're going to import them here. They're hydrogen fuel cell trucks. You ready for a fuel cell truck? You ready to fill up with some hydrogen? Like the Hindenburg? George Costanza's here. Who do you drive for? It's good to see you today. And who do I drive for? Well, for people that are new, I do the show every week at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time at the moment. And I don't tell people who I drive for. It just keeps them out of my videos. I don't have to worry about them saying, oh, you can't say that or whatever. And also, I don't recruit for them. So many drivers are recruiting for their company. And look, if you like the company, recruit for them. But I'm just not doing that. I'm just going to keep them out, and then I can basically say whatever I want. Because once you mention them, boom, you can't say anything bad about them, right? Holy mackerel. Ansel and Penelope, Rain, Blossom Smith. Those reading glasses are everywhere. I know. I'm going to need some of them pretty soon if I don't get this chat popped out. Would you consider doing a video on what kids say now? I think that would be pretty groovy. What do these kids say? It's always these kids that are saying things, by the way. Merry Christmas from the great state of Alabama. It's almost here. I'll tell you. That's maybe too. YouTube doesn't like my inequality opening screen. Right. We're all equal. It's just that some of us are more equal than others for you George Orwell readers. Christina, passed your test. Now you have your permit. All right. 5 weeks to get into school. They're booked up because of federal funding. Well, how long is the permit good for there? Didn't they extend the dates? Aren't they a year now, I think? It used to not be good as long. So where are you going to go to school? Hello, end users. Jim Trucker. Congratulations, Misty. Yeah, no doubt. Prime offered me a settlement, said half a bag of frozen meatballs from last driver appreciation week. The good thing about refrigerated is sometimes you get food. Every once in a while something would break or there'd be an extra pallet or a box of something. You can get some chow that way. Not bad. And by the way, that's more than I got. So I showed everybody my flashlight. Wanted to be first, Misty, but I'm glad another woman got in. You were both very close. Hey, D-Boy611, what's going on? 5 days off and truck at Freightliner for recalls. Are you off because of the recalls? I see that's the downside, I guess, of an assigned truck, if it's in for recalls. They just recalled Kenworths, too. There's some kind of ABS problem with some new Kenworths, 18 to 21 Kenworths, so I don't have all that here. I think it's T680s. The Delco Remy shirt you wear, is that who you drive for? Is that the customer? No, actually, I got this at the Goodwill store for $1. So I get a bunch of shirts there, and it was half price day. Normally they're $2, but they're $1, and this is my hanging around the house shirt. So that's why I'm generally have it on here. Yeah, Delco Remy. Nice. I think because there's a Delco plant in Kokomo, right? Isn't there something Delco? And that's why there were some shirts in there. Alex, the OTR driver checking in. Safety shut me down for doing the 8-2 sleeper. They told me to do a 10 after doing an 8-1 hour into driving. Their system said I was in the negative. You can't do an 8-1. It would be 8-2. So I'd have to know exactly how those numbers went. But you don't have to do a 10 after an 8, right? 8 and then 2. So The problem is when they change the rules like this, some of the people that do the logs at your company aren't going to know what they are talking about. Hear from Paul at Roadrunner. Have not heard any more from Roadrunner. Their stock is one of the only ones that are down, though, down to 240. Most of the rest of them are up, surprisingly a lot. Every time I see them go up, I'm disappointed that I didn't buy them in April. Trucker Hershey, start show and just move your mouth without saying anything next week for 10 seconds. Only us will know. Yeah, I thought I would kind of lip sync that there was no sound, and I was working on it. So trying to do get into the settings and stuff. Always some kind of problem at the last minute. My Qualcomm said otherwise. I stopped for 2 hours and then kept going after the clock reset. Yeah, right. After 2 hours, there's your break, right? You should, as long as you do an 8 at the end of it, you're good. Must hit the 8 at the end of it. And that 8 needs to be in the sleeper. Cassius King Trucking is here. Hello, everyone. Hello, Cassius King Trucking. Let's see what I have over here for that. Oh, right. There we go. Cassius King Trucking is here. It's live every 10 minutes, 24/7. So there you go. And here's the Schuster thing I talked about before. All right, Schuster raising their pay increase over there at Schuster. So that's how to check them out. And then there's this again. So at least those work. Never driven a cab over. I feel like it would be uncomfortable. Luke, well, you get a better view of everything. Certainly you can get into little tiny docks. It's pretty interesting. You may get the chance to because the country, if Hyundai has their say in it, may go back to it. The numbers don't work out on the current cab over, as I was doing math earlier today, but I think it will when the price of hydrogen goes down. Cassius King's already made 4 deliveries today, just 3 more to go. That is 80% of a week for me. You already did before noon, as they say. You do more before noon than most people do all week. 3 more to go. Be careful out there, truckers. They're not pumping the story saying virus can remain active on paper money. I saw that. They said that currency, I think that's how they put it, 28 days on currency or your phone. That's what they said. Do people not wash their phone? I do that every day. So I do wipe my phone off every day. I always have, just to keep the screen clean and everything. Are people not doing that? I don't know. Maybe because I hear people in the bathroom talking on their phone all the time. And they're having a loud conversation in the stall. What are we doing? Can you hang up for 5 minutes? Give me 5 minutes, I'll be back with you. You know, holy moly. Hyundai Trucks model will be blowed up real good. Misty. Will they have a long guarantee on them? I don't know. Hydrogen cab over sounds cool. Trucking is cool. Well, yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be, you know, fuel cell is what it really is, part of hydrogen and batteries. So, I don't know. No price on it yet. Oh, it's good for 6 months? All right, so if you're in 5 weeks, you shouldn't have any problem. I thought they had expanded some. Maybe it depends on state by state. Dominican truck driver saw Sierra England truck with 3 million safe miles. That's the entire company, though. They put that on. That's the whole company. They put, for every safe mile, we feed a child. Something like that. Yeah. I'll tell you what, 3 million, and to go, if he hasn't been at England that whole time, that'd really be something. Oh, at Ivy Tech. Nice. Yeah, I know. Some of them have truck school, Ivy Techs, which is like a community college here in the state of Indiana, but the one here in Lafayette does not. 3 million miles at England. How many decades did that take? Why would a driver with 3 million miles go to Sierra England? Or why is a driver staying at England for 3 million miles, I think? Misty got a case of wieners when you ran reefers. Too bad I'm a lesbian. Yeah, they go, hey, would you like some wieners? And you go, no, thank you. You can get all kinds of stuff. Seriously, though, running a refrigerated, there's all kinds of stuff that breaks or there seems to be extra. I don't know why. But it seemed like every week you'd get a case of something. You know, sometimes it was good. I got a case of salsa once, I remember. Prego. You'd get a lot of stuff. Cookies. I had like cookie dough one time. All kinds of stuff. A high fuel cell would be interesting. Spontaneous combust on contact with oxygen. Kelly. Yeah, I'm thinking, look, this is just like a bunch of Hindenburgs driving around. But, you know, hey, what do we know? Nikita, I'm in school taking a test November 4th. We would think of starting with NFI and then later GP Logistics. GP Transco, hopefully, right. But not sure. Yeah. Misty never went to school, really. I don't hear too many people today that didn't head off to truck school. I did go to truck school, so I never had any training beyond truck school where now people all go to training. I didn't get that part of it. But when I started driving, there was always drivers. Well, when I started, I drove a truck on my farm or whatever, I'd haul corn to the feed mill when I was 4 years old, kind of in the snow, both ways. 5 days home time. Oh, truck's getting fixed with your home. Should save the company money. Yeah, it should. But other trucks, they'd have to pay for hotel for the driver. Yeah, I don't know if they would pull it in for that. Maybe. I'd have them wait on the recall on that thing until it either broke down or when they went home. You were an hour into driving when they called to shut down for 10 hours. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a legit break then. That is a legitimate break. They don't know what they're talking about. Misty learned to drive on back lots and job sites and then took your test. Yeah, people don't know. You don't have to go to truck school to get a license. It's not a requirement. You can just go take the test, just like driving a car. Like, I never went to driving school to get my license to drive. I just went in and took the test. It isn't required, so maybe in some states if you're under 18 it is, but otherwise, no way. The answer starts your journey at Prime Training Program on the 21st. All right, well, congratulations. Hopefully you won't have to join any of their class action lawsuits that they regularly settle. Kevin is here. Paul knows how to make money. Know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Jerry, I do. And so does he. Certainly, he knows how to make it, but he's not making it for his company, certainly. It's not helping them at all. Columbia, George, my people net still's not updated the new hours of service. Well, fortunately, I got updated last week, and I did look, and it won't let me do the split. So, because it has a rule set on there, as Fleet Nav System said, and it won't let me do a split. I'm not on a split rule set, so, and I can't change mine. Looks like you're not too late, Kyle. No, you're not too late today. Did you say already made four? I think he made 4 deliveries and 4 videos at each delivery, I think is what he meant. Robert Daniel, the covers will work if you want to be first in an accident. Oh, right. Man, in my opinion, Prime is pretty scummy. The judge should call them back in court. I agree that. The judge should have immediately put an order out and had them recall that message, change the message, and give drivers more time to sign up for the settlement. Absolutely. We accidentally sent it out. Yeah, right. Does your wife ever complain that you spend too much time on here? No, she doesn't. She's very good about stuff that I enjoy doing, so which I'm happy about. And there's Fleet Nav Systems right here. Happy Monday. It's good to see you. The scales are closed in Indiana and Ohio since it's Columbus Day, D-Boy 11. Is it really? I didn't even know that. Is it really Columbus Day? Where did I go off to? Oh, right there. Right. Fleet Nav Systems is here. All Geotab all the time. Get in while the getting's good on Geotab. Up through school. No, now you're a truck driver. Now you get to drive the truck. If Roadrunner stock keeps dropping, it will be moved into the junk stock or penny stock. Yeah, I mean, they're $240, and it's down again from a few days ago. It was $250. So they just keep cruising down, but all the other stocks this week went up. And that's not great. I slept through school. Let's see, that's funny you say about the corn hauling is exactly where I started in the 80s. Big rig gig. Yeah, look, that's what many drivers said, back then. Oh, well, I started driving when I was 3 years old, and my pappy let me haul corn in an international, and, that's what you would hear all the time. And I was shifting, 7-stick international. I don't know. Now we're worried. That's the thing. Now people are worried, people aren't going to have enough training. But the people that say that are the ones that didn't have any training and are still drivers and are driving fine, presumably. I don't know. Is training for weeks and weeks beyond truck school necessary? Have you heard anything about the Colorado truck driver accident last year? No. That's probably not going to go to court for some time, I would assume. So there's been nothing more about that guy. He's waiting somewhere in Texas, Houston. Alan B., when you have a heart attack, get your medical card 2 months early. Always. If you think you're going to have a heart attack, you should go get your medical card now. Learning from old-timers on the job, I was taught how to deal with real-world situations. Misty, right. So school wasn't necessary. Not school, but even school, but not training. All this months and months of training, 50,000 miles. Is that necessary? I'm not sure. Christina, I'm not paying for the school. The vocational rehab is paying for the school and the hotel. That's pretty good. And $75 a week. And you don't pay anything back, so it's a grant. It's free. Do I get endorsements? If they'll let you, get whatever you can get. because here in Indiana, they stay on your license forever once you get them. So get whichever one you can get. Driver pay is going up and getting some big offers. Got one at 65 cents a mile. Yeah, there's a story about the pay going up this week. That pay is going up at most companies. So that was pretty interesting. And they've given all these different reasons. Number one is the COVIDs, that a lot of drivers got out and said, forget it. They were home for months and they're like, wait a minute, I don't need to go back out and do that. So that's the problem. This brake recall should be mandatory. If collision braking activated, only half apply. And if sometimes activates when it sees a shadow. That's true. That one shouldn't even be on the truck. This ABS recall on these Kenworths is some kind of quick release. I read about a quick release thing. It doesn't seem to affect the brakes. It just doesn't comply with standards, so it has to come in. And the Cascadia recall is for brake lights that come on, which then may not allow you to use your cruise control, and people behind you would be confused. This certainly this automated braking thing, it should be outlawed around the country. It has nothing to do with safety. It's ridiculous. Many of you probably have the same problem I do. You'll go under a bridge, it goes off. You go around a corner, it sees a barrel, it goes off. Right. That's what I wanted to say. So last week I had a sleeper truck. Okay, so I had a Cascadia sleeper for most of the days, a different truck. I'm turning a corner and the thing says, hey, you're turning this corner too fast. You're going to roll over. You need to slow down 3 miles an hour. What the heck? Is this some kind of program I don't know anything about? So the truck is telling me to slow down 3 miles an hour when I'm turning a corner, which was not too fast. I ended up not rolling over. 3 miles an hour? And this is a Cascadia solution. Sleeper. Does anybody have this rollover program? What the heck is going on? How slow do you have to go to before this thing doesn't activate? George Wilson learned a lot from your dad, but still went to truck driver school. Yeah, my dad didn't teach me anything about driving. So he wouldn't even let me drive his car. So there you go about that. Couldn't drive the Fury wagon, the Horizon, nothing. So, actually, when I was driving, he had an Oldsmobile wagon. Couldn't drive anything during that time. So that was my lesson. Your lesson is I'm not going to say anything to you, he said. Not only that, you're not going to drive until your test, and then you're not driving again. Perfect. He goes, now get a bike. If you want one of those, you got to go to work. Drummer to driver. Mentioned a few weeks ago that I was starting a GP Transco on the 21st of September. All right, coming up. You probably don't remember asking, but the answer is yes. Got a teal truck, casket with 98 miles on it. That's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Did you get a choice of trucks that day? Because I know they've said sometimes they allow people to choose the truck they get. After into my CDL, do I have to take the written test again? Not if it's not expired, at least not here. You only take the hazmat test here. I don't have to do anything else here, it seems. So if it's expired, you'll probably have to retest. And there may be time limits. It's state by state. Truck driving school only prepare you for the test. That is true. That's what they told us. This is self-evident in the fact that you never negotiate going down a mountain. Right. And look, I want to go. He goes, you're not going. I'd rather go. I'll give you $2. I'm trying to negotiate going down this mountain. But that's true. Maybe out west they do have you go down mountains. But really, let's think about this at truck school. Like I went to truck school in Chicago on the south side. How would we do mountain driving? They would have to cart everybody out to a mountain. There's nowhere in Chicago other than speed bumps at the Orland Park Mall that we could go down any kind of grade or anything. So I don't know. Christina, I'll get it if I can pass the test. Vocational rehab will reimburse you. Yeah, look, and plus it lasts your whole life. That's the thing. You never know in your career when you'll use doubles, triples. Now, I've never had a regular job driving doubles, but I've driven doubles before. There, one time, years ago, they're like, this guy's off on vacation. Would you want to go fill in for him? And I wasn't doing anything. Like, yeah, I'm like, I'll do it. I had a doubles endorsement. Had I not had that, I wouldn't have had that work. So you just never know where it'll go. You just won't know where it'll go. How much hydrogen will require hazmat endorsement, Kenneth? Well, there won't be an endorsement because same as hauling diesel fuel in the truck tanks, the saddle tanks. How about that? No endorsement required for that because it's to fuel the vehicle. It's not a load. So, and actually there's not even that much. This Hyundai, it doesn't hold much hydrogen. It's only got, 35 kilograms, 70, 80 pounds of it. So it doesn't hold much at all anyways. Big rig gig. Apparently the people in that has their own interpretation of the hours of service. I like how they interpret it. Only stop the clock on the split if you do the long break first. They say that is how they think the FMCSA wants it to be. No, their FMCSA is clear, very clear on that. Either section can be first. They put a whole video. Tell them to go to the FMCSA site. They have videos about how each section works. They talk about on there. Either section can be first and use it for a break. No problem, as long as you break at the end of it to add up to the 10. So they were very clear about how they want it. Let's see, where did I go? And I lost my spot as usual. Let's see. My dad said in his lap, start teaching me to drive a Caterpillar bulldozer. Kelly, wow. That's great. That's pretty good. My dad was not up for any of that. I'll tell you that. So you can drive all this heavy equipment as well, I assume then. Drummer to driver, mind braked while crossing a bridge the other day. No one in sight. Yeah, they just, a bird, I don't know, it gets scared. I don't know what the story is, especially in October. Maybe it's getting frightened. The ice up in the snow, get pumped the brakes for no reason. That is the real problem that I have with them, the winter time. And like I always say, like I said last year, this is something you should not do to that sensor on your front bumper. I recommend you not doing this because you would probably get in trouble for it. Take a piece of cardboard that is the size of that sensor and wrap it in aluminum foil, okay? Then wrap that in like Gorilla Tape that's black that matches the bumper color, and then tape that over the front of the sensor. If you did that, you would disable it. So don't do that. And most companies would fire you for it. Some insurance companies require certification of training. James, no, I don't know. Wouldn't experience satisfy for that? As maybe now. You need to borrow money from Paul. He has tons of money. He loves hot money. Yeah, I do too. Any kind. Of course, the COVID can be on it, so he needs to lay it out for 28 days. Volvos have the rollover technology with slam on the brakes. Well, the Freightliner didn't do anything with the brakes. It just alerted me with a sound, and then on the display, it's like rollover risk. You slow down 3 miles an hour. I'm like, really? 3 miles an hour? It figured that out? And I'm supposed to read that while I'm trying to turn, of course, also. Mr. Chapstick is here. Good afternoon. How's Susie? Has anyone noticed on the new trailers when your jakes come on, your brake lights do? It makes it look like you're riding your brakes. Kevin, we had some of those years ago on Columbia's, which I didn't like because I'm somebody that used the jake brakes all the time. So I did notice that. I'm like, why are the lights on? Oh, it's with the jakes. Now these new Cascadias we have, it's not doing it. So I don't know what the rhyme or reason is for it. The idea was you're slowing down, and so people behind you should be alerted by having your brake lights come on. Nikita, does GP Transco let new drivers work for them? No, you need a year of experience at GP Transco to get on over there. So get a year and keep a clean record. Mad Hatter, hello there. Luke1234, I do not have any kids myself. The wife had 4 kids when I married her. They are all out of the house now and off on their own adventures. Some are almost as old as me now. That's right, the one kid this year is 38. So, yeah, they're basically my age. Incredible, really. Asked about the brake light switch recall. They knew nothing about it. Nice. Article said dealers and owners will be notified and parts will be available then. Great. So you'll be back in November, maybe on your next home time to get it fixed. Christine, I need a huge bell to ring. Lunch is almost ready. Could you hear it in Lafayette from Salem? If it's a lunch bell, I probably could. Yeah, probably. It was just what they gave me. Oh, there were 5 in orientation. 3 got new ones, and the other 2 got a white 19 and a 2020. That's still pretty new, right? I'd probably rather have the teal one, really. But if I don't get a choice, it's not something I'm going to leave. They've had problems with people, refusing a truck because it's just a certain make of truck. I think that's kind of ridiculous. Darnell, your truck puts on the brake lights when the engine brake activates. I hate it, being that you run West Virginia all the time. What kind of truck is it? What kind of truck is doing that? It can be set off. Mine are off with the jakes, but I prefer them on. Trucker Hershey, there's nothing in the settings to turn that on and off. They must have to plug it in. And this Cascadia that I had this week will not let you go in manual mode or into performance mode. So that's pretty awesome. Fleet Nav, PeopleNet is covering for the fact that they weren't ready for the switch like they should have been. Maybe. Or maybe somebody at PeopleNet thinks like it was before, like the longer part needed to be first. But they're wrong. That is not correct. And this is the big problem of this. When your ELD doesn't give you the right thing, then it shows a violation on there when it's not actually a violation. And if the DOT officer sees that, you get a ticket for something that isn't even right. You got to go fight it. That is a real problem. Chris Keller, how am I doing? It's awesome. Mondays are always great, just like every day that you wake up, I think. It's always awesome to wake up. Really, seriously. We don't have that many days left, so make them count. Chef Matt Hammerschmidt. Doubles have been my favorite since teenage years on the farm. Washington says no to triples unless saddleback trucks are being pulled. Okay, so you can only have a certain kind of truck. Heck, they're going to run these road trains through North Dakota, if you saw that. How about 3 or 4 regular trailers hooked together, as they said? They said regular. That was their word. Christina, hazmat is not transferable from state to state, or at least it wasn't in 2005. That's true, right? You'd have to redo hazmat. But these other ones, I don't know. I don't know if triples will transfer. I don't know. If you're in the same state, like Indiana, right, that stays on your license forever. Motorcycle, triples, doubles, tanker, all that stays on your license forever. If you order a new truck, it won't have those sensors. Good. Have them off there. That front one with the sensor thing to slow you down is ridiculous. Wipe the sensor off with oil every day so ice won't stick. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm going to be doing. I certainly don't want ice to be on there. Otherwise, it might not work in the winter time. That's the other thing. Snow builds up on it in the winter, and it doesn't work, which is nice. Chris, the new Kenworths do that. They're T880, so you're doing the lights too. If the truck does not have those sensors, your insurance might be higher. Trucker Hershey, maybe, but it doesn't work that way in a car, does it? Like, I had 2 cars. One car's got all these sensors. I have adaptive cruise on the Escape and all that. The other car, none of that stuff, right? Geico doesn't seem to care. They didn't even ask about it. Keep trucking ELD same way. Short brake will not pause the 14-hour clock. Stephen, that is not right. You write to these people and say, hey, both brakes pause your clock. You're not getting the benefit of the rules. Why don't people at the ELD makers understand what the rules are? They should have been studying this and program it incorrectly. That is not the way it works. Roger Penske is here. Roll the Weiner. Happy Columbus Day. Yeah, I didn't even know that. That was, he had the first roller Weiner machine, a manual machine that was coal-fired. That's actual true story. My company takes the sensors off the front bumpers during the winter. Good. Wow, what great company is that? That's pretty good. Who's Susie? Susie Chapstick. Am I that old? I'm only in my extreme upper 30s. Susie Chapstick. There must be somebody that knows who that is. I think you should have done a 10-4 video last Sunday. Do you have off today being Columbus Day? I do not have off today. I didn't even know it was Columbus Day. And no, I'm not off today. It's not a paid holiday either. So I don't even get that benefit of it. And until 20 minutes ago, I had no idea it was Columbus Day. That's too bad. Geotab is working. Yeah, as of last week, last Monday, my Geotab did start activating for that. My lights do come on. Where did I go off to? Love with the lights coming on. I use the compression brake. Robert, I'm up and down because I use them a lot. Drummer to driver, I saw the video of the guy that refused the truck. Okay, break's over. Gotta roll, but I'll be listening. Be safe and take care. All right, thanks for being here. I don't care if the truck is a pink polka dot as long as you're paid properly. Look, as long as the truck is safe, everything works, I need air conditioning, stuff like that. Otherwise, I'm in, all right? I'm all set. I'm not going to say, oh, no, I absolutely refuse to drive Volvos or whatever, or I refuse to drive this certain make of truck. That's ridiculous. And if you're that specific where you need, I can only drive a specific truck, you should ask in advance. What exactly truck will I be getting? Because if it's this truck, I refuse to drive it. And see how many orientations you get to also. Got a compliment at a shipping dock about the teal truck. Said it looks sharp. Keep them clean. It does. They look good as long as they're clean. And, keep it washed up. It'll be the last month or two where we'll be able to keep them clean all the time. The Pete 579, the new pack cars are doing it too. So they're all getting this technology, right, as they call it. The blind spot monitor in the Volvo sleeper will go off if I'm next to a guardrail. It does that in the car too, okay? So I will say that. If you're driving by weeds or there's something on the side, but all I have is a light that comes on in there. So I assume the semis work the same way. As long as there's no sound, I'd be okay with it. Can you turn the sound off? Christine, I wonder if they'll test us and teach us on the yard with a standard or automatic. Oh, automatic? I'd say automatic. Not sure. Had the brake problem on my 19 Cascadia and spent a ton of money trying to get it fixed. Well, now we know what the problem is, right? Now they're finally recalling it. How are the Cascadias? Better quality? Yes. The new Cascadia with the LED lights, much better than the old ones. Much improved. Everything's set up better in it. I like it a lot. I miss having it. I miss going to the Kmart warehouse in Alsip. They had awesome cafeteria. The food was excellent. The Kmart warehouse. Wow. There was a Kmart here in Lafayette till a few years ago. Trucker Hershey, I had a Pete 579 and company had set for brake lights on with Jake's. Got called on CB, why are you riding your brakes? I told them about them coming on. Oh, right, people will think you'll be on your brakes all the way down Mount Eagle or whatever. That's true, too. Everything transfers except hazmat or the new state doesn't have it at all. Okay, so all you'll need to do is re-hazmat yourself. I might not get that outside another state if I had to redo it again anyway. I have it many times. I just annotate it, let it show violation. See, I wouldn't want to turn a violation into a company. It should get fixed. I'd write to him constantly about that. It shouldn't do that. You shouldn't have to annotate a violation. The ELD should be correct. George Costanza, you should think about that for the Sunday rant, doing a video that explains CB chatter. I swear I can understand the word the old gays are saying the CB. Most of them aren't saying anything. Okay, most of them don't. I only have a handheld CB that I take with me that plugs in the cigarette lighter, so I don't get a lot of distance out of it. So I don't get to hear that many people, which is fortunate. But yeah, most of them for several years now haven't really said much of anything. I wouldn't know what they're talking about. What PeopleNet is saying is they will not stop the clock until you pair it, but won't activate it into split mode until you do a 7 or 8 in the sleeper first. They do not want the 14 pausing period. See, as soon as you do the first one, I think it should be set up like this, and Geotab should do this too. As soon as you go in the sleeper on the first one, you got to be able to hit a button that say this is maybe a button that says split. And so then you're telling it, hey, I'm going to use this as a split, and it'll pause your clock right then. They should be able to do that. They can't wait until the end because you could theoretically be over hours before you take the second split because you've stopped your clock, but it doesn't think you've stopped your clock. It's not the right way to do it. And so you get stopped when you're 15 hours, but you took a 2-hour break, so you're still legal. And then, so now you get to explain to the officer why it shows a violation. I don't like the whole thing. Certain states have different endorsements like metal coil and tow trucks. And metal coil in Mississippi. Yeah, that's true. Some flatbeds, you need actually different. You need to go through a little bit more training to do that. Never drove an automatic in a semi. Will it be interesting? It is. It's not terrible. It's not too much different than your car anymore. Darnell's going to bed. Have a safe day, everyone. Fixing a dream about running for Western Express. That's what we all dream of. I wish they had more trucks so we could all work there. That's what I'm trying to get them to do. Buy more trucks so everybody can come and experience Western Express. Keep Trucking ELD doesn't stop the clock on split. Waiting to see if I get it corrected. It should automatically. I mean, this kind of thing is so frustrating. This didn't happen in the last changeover. Of course, there weren't ELDs yet. Trucker Hershey, how about this? When parked with key on to run the EPU, collision alert comes on and the truck drives past. We were sleeping. Really? Can't you run the EPU with the key off or with the key on accessory? Why does it have to be on? That doesn't make any sense, right? Because this sleeper I have has an APU on it, and I have it set on battery. So presumably it'll run all the time. I mean, even if there's no key. Sometimes the Volvo makes a fake horn sound, but you can turn the noise off. Good. There should be a way in the thing for you to do it. Gino's here. Hey, Mark, how are you? What company do you work for? Hopefully nobody's asked that. Oh, yes, they have, of course. And I always pass on that because that keeps them out of your videos. You can't say anything bad about them. Of course, this is easier. You don't have to say anything about them. And no recruiting. Stupid programmers. Yeah, the people programming are who? Are they drivers? Not likely. Drivers don't usually retire and become programmers, but I guess you could. Even so, they should have people there that learn this, study it. There's been tons of videos from the FMCSA about it, so they should understand how it works. And if not, they should have some consultant come on. That is a driver that knows what they're talking about, like Trooper Hoover, who's on Fleet Nav Systems. How about that? Get him on there. Fleet Nav likes that idea. I have to ask about that for split sleeper. Yeah, how about, because you know when you go in that split, you're going to split it. So boom, you go in the sleeper and then you hit split. And that stops your clock right there. You're telling it you're going to split. Then later, if you didn't split, it wouldn't give it to you. But as long as you start a sleeper berth at the correct time at the end, it should split no problem. You've told it what you want to do. This frustrating way, and you were talking about the rule sets last week. I checked. I have a 16-hour rule set for local drivers, and it won't let me change it. You hit the button? No, admin only. So we can't change our rule set. I know you said some people can't. We can't. We can't do it, but just why not just a button? Split. They asked. He read it. I don't think he answered, of course. This is why I like them, because it freaks people out. Oh, all right. Tap in TV. Hello. Where did I go off to? Mr. Chapstick, never heard of her before your time. Yikes. How old does that make you? Or me? I'm going to head over to the Amy Coney Barrett hearings. They should have given you off today. They should have. But even I didn't know it was a holiday. So at least I could be paid for it extra. So I'm going to ask them, which isn't going to do me any good. But no, not off today. The only thing I don't like in the Automax is the hesitation when you start. And on some of them, some of them are better than others. Some started first. Some seems to start in third gear. I don't know. That Volvo I had a Volvo last week for one day. And you couldn't manually shift it, so some are better than others. The closest hill driving experience you can give a new trucker in Illinois is US 20 in East Dubuque. That'd be a long ride, too, out of Chicago from a truck school. I mean, that's our whole day just going out there. Fleet Nav Systems right now, because it's automatic, you have to be in sleeper berths or off, like PC, for 2 hours before the clock stops, because your shorter break doesn't have to be in sleeper berths, so hard to detect. I agree. But there's no reason you can't hit a button and as soon as you go in sleeper so that it knows. Boom, you're in sleeper. I'm going on a split. It just has a button that says split, right where it says exemptions and all these other things. Split. And that's it. And you got it, right? Then you got it. That'd be a lot easier way to do it. I don't know if Geotab cares at all what I think, certainly. But what does Betsy think about it? What do you think about that? Does Betsy think anything about that? I'm not sure. She might. And let's see, where did that go up to? All right. Trooper Hoover's great. I know. That guy's awesome. He should consult with these companies and say, no. This is not how it works. This is not how it works at all, right? If you wear it, of course, you make it a parrot. Also, for Betsy as well. Programmers typically peck at a keyboard without having any clue what the end result is. Most do not care about end user experience. They should. This is important that this thing works correctly, because there are drivers that don't know how it works. So if that doesn't know, the driver doesn't know, it's just a disaster. I saw a driver that checked a box and it did the split. I'm assuming it's company specific. That's great. Why doesn't it just have a box you can check? That's great too. Something easy for the driver to use right then. Same with the people who write manuals. You're a tech geek and sometimes you can understand them. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Betsy gets on the show. Absolutely. It's supposed to be a bad winter. Good. It'll keep those sensors covered up. The last 2 winters have been really nice. So I'm hoping that this winter is nice as well. We got 3 days this week here in Lafayette, so upper Indiana, where it's going to be 70s, and then it gets cold. I'll mention it to Geotab, both in the community and to see about submitting a feature request. Wow. Yeah, see what happens with that. And see if you can get a cut of the feature request money. They have to give you 10% of whatever their feature request money is as some kind of payment for that. But no, really, it should say split. That's all it needs to say. Right where it says, exemptions for adverse conditions and all that. One of them, split. Robert Daniel. I thought it said Robert Duvall. That would be impressive. The split sleeper doesn't stop your clocks, but it does give you your hours back after which split sleeper you choose to do. Well, theoretically, it's stopping your 14-hour clock, because that 2 hours does not count against your 14 hours. So if you drive 5 hours, sleep 2 hours, now we really only still have 5 hours that we've worked. We still have 9 hours left to work and drive up to our 14 hours. So as long as you take it at the other end, it comes off. It shouldn't matter. Also, some of these places are having it where it has to be the long section first. That's not true. It can be either section first. The FMCSA was very clear about that. So for people that are, I forget who it was, right, to say, oh, you have to do the long one first, that is not true at all. And they were quite clear about that. That's where you try to rewrite a bunch of stuff to help make it easier for end users. See, exactly. Some manual's so complicated, 400-page manual, really. How many cats do I have? It's a cat house here, basically, about 100 cats or so running around. It costs a lot in food, but they're worth it, you know. And you notice they're very quiet during the show because I always tell them to be quiet during the show. Well, the FMCSA wants to expand the 18 to 21-year-old deal for military drivers, too. So they're going to open up more MOSs for people that are in the military and get out, I guess, before the 21 to get a CDL easier. They're going to combat engineers, a number of missile drivers. There were a few other ones. There were a couple Marine ones in there, too, which are 4-digit ones, it said, which I don't remember those. So a few more people in the military, if you happen to be in the military and watching the show, will be able to come out and have a much easier time getting a CDL and becoming a truck driver. I think that's a good thing. If you already drive in the military for years, I mean, you could get out your 20. You've driven a semi there, a lot of FLDs and regular semis for years. Why can't you drive a truck? I mean, come on. You have 2 years of semi-driving experience already. My 2019 Dave Johnson Cascade just went to Freightliner for wore out spring bushings at $270. They're doing the job under warranty. Wow, that's a lot. That's too early, I think. They look cute, that's for sure. Of course, all cats do, no matter what color or size or anything, right? That's the thing about animals. They don't care what everybody else looks like. Isn't that amazing? Boy, if only people did that. How much better would it be then? A lot better. So these Trinity Logistics, I'm sure you heard about this. Did anybody work there? They did a lot of oil field stuff and stuff like that. And now 102 drivers just off, just like that. They actually said they had 150 trucks, but 102 drivers. And they closed. Now, it did say this. Every driver got paid. The article was specific that every driver got paid all the money they're due. That's how they worded it. So if you work there, they got paid all the money that they're due. Worn out spring bushings, they should charge it back to the government because of bad roads. You know, if you get hit a pothole or whatever and get a flat, sometimes you can get paid from the government. I don't know about a semi, but sometimes in a car, like Chicago has a web page dedicated to that where you fill it out. And I guess if nobody's reported it or something and they haven't fixed it in time, you can get paid back for a tire or bent rim and stuff like that. It takes a little time, but it can happen. I've heard of people that get money back for that. Maybe they should, maybe the government should pay for that. Of course, that's us, right? That's us not demanding the roads be fixed. We say, look, you gotta do it. Oh, this new Prime versus Amazon Prime lawsuit. So that's back out, and another story came out about that. Remember when Prime Inc. said to Amazon, hey, your trailers are confusing everybody, and you're, quote, tarnishing our good name. I love that. And so Amazon, you've got to stop using the name Prime because we use the name Prime and you can't use it. And so that case, they tried to settle and they can't. It's going to trial. Yeah. February 7th, 2022 is the court date. So they can always settle before then, but they actually set a trial date for that because New Prime Inc. said, hey, people are confused. Our good name's being tarnished, presumably from the 40-year-old trucks that are used to pull Amazon Prime trailers around. So that might be their problem, but I don't know what their problem is with it. But they said that their name's being tarnished and they got to cut it out. Amazon said basically get lost, and we'll see who wins this one. Prime spends more time in court. I swear, they get more miles going back and forth to court than they do hauling freight down the road. They're either being sued or doing the suing. Oil fields in the crapper right now, I can imagine. So gas was $1.92 when I was out and about yesterday morning. So $1.92 for regular, not bad, at the Arco station of all things. Charles, your cat never cared what I look like as long as I was on time for the food. Exactly. As long as you feed them, they don't care. They don't care. That's all animals, though, right? All right, got to head out of here and help with some customers. All right, have a great day. Be safe. All right, thanks, Fleet Nav Systems, for being here. And let me know what happens with Geotab, if they actually say anything or what. And what Geotab does with that. If you need Geotab information, check them out on YouTube. They got tons of informative videos about using Geotab. So there. Head over there, and there we go. Christina, Louisville is like that as well as the potholes. Oh, yeah, Louisville, right? Horrible. They keep building. Now they charge for the bridge to go from Indiana to Kentucky, and it's horrible. Brilliant. And you can't pay in cash. They won't allow it. So that's another good thing about that. You're not allowed to pay in cash for the bridge. Fuller Eaton Auto Shift is best if you want to go that way. Allison is bad. Max Moron Drive and Volvo Idiot Shifts. I don't know. Volvo iShift always has done pretty good. It's smooth. Prime never had a good name. That's what I'm saying. So Prime has the gall to say you're tarnishing our bad name in the industry. They're in court. Every time they go to court, they have a punch card. Their lawyers have a punch card. They get a free Subway for every fifth suit they go in to defend. So, I mean, come on. They're constantly in there. People that don't believe me, go to Google and type in, New Prime Inc. lawsuits. It's just page after page of being sued over the years and settling. They settle everything. I don't know if they've ever taken anything to court. Kelly Patterson, H2 bad that trucking company would charge the government money for excessive wear and tear on the vehicle due to bad roads. Yeah, Prime probably has a good case against Amazon here, I think. Chance, I don't know. If you looked, here's the thing, and okay, I guess I'll say this, where Fleet Nav System just left. I'm not a lawyer, and you should contact your local FMCSA field office for more information. But if you look at the two trailers, if I showed you a Prime trailer and an Amazon Prime trailer, okay, would you be confused which one is Prime Inc.'s trailer? Since Prime's trailer says Prime Inc. on it, and the other one says Amazon Prime. Or Prime with the smile, which is trademarked for Amazon. So is it confusing? And even if it is, say it's confusing, you're like, I'm not sure. Does an Amazon Prime trailer, so you see that, does that tarnish Prime Inc.'s name? Like, okay, I saw an Amazon Prime trailer. I thought it was Prime Floral, but it isn't. How does that hurt them? How are you how are you damaged by that? Because the Amazon Prime trailer is not even competing with Prime Inc.'s freight. They are hauling their own freight around. So that's my question, I guess, about that. How are they damaged by that? The old trucks, I mean, that's all they can think of is that they can't control the driving of it. And so if there are drivers that are not driving correctly, people will think it's Prime Inc., I guess. As pieces of the trucks fall off that pull Amazon Prime trailers, people will think it's Prime Inc. and their trucks are falling apart. And they're not. They're mostly new because they get the drivers to pay for them. John Rolewski. The Amazon smile looks like a big sausage with what Jeff B. is doing to us. Well, he's not doing anything to anybody, right? Of course, free market. Nobody has to buy anything from Amazon, right? You can never buy anything from Amazon if you don't want to. And we got an Amazon delivery yesterday. So my money's on Amazon for when they got a lot more money than what Prime does. That's true, Kelly. I thought they're taking on the wrong person here. I mean, who's got more money than Amazon to defend this? But I don't even think I personally don't think the case is that strong. They're two different things. You can't, I don't know if you could patent like the word prime, like that. Only the way they use it. Get unloaded in Danville, Kentucky. Headed to Love's for roller wiener lunch. That's perfect. Right. On sale today. And they should be free for Columbus Day since Columbus was the one who discovered roller wiener machines and the first one to use a steam-powered, manually operated roller machine to cook up roller wieners. Setting a court is the same as saying it's okay to keep doing what you're doing. Settling. Well, right. And when they settle, I think they're saying, well, we don't think we'll win this case. That's what I think. Because if you thought you'd win it, would you pay $30 million? The legal cost would be less than $30 million, certainly. Christina gas here is $219 to $240 in Salem, Corydon, and New Albany. Yeah, going, depending where you went in the state, higher, lower, up north. I got a friend that lives in Hobart, right? And he's like $240 up there, so just depends. I saw $192 yesterday. I don't fill up at the Arco. I thought, oh, that's pretty cheap, though. Want to see it in Bud? Mike Scott. You can tell the difference between Amazon Prime and Prime Inc. One's doing 85, and it's a junker, and the other one's doing 58. Exactly. Look, Prime certainly has nicer trucks driving their trailers around, certainly, for $1,400 a week or whatever you pay for them. But yeah, Amazon Prime, they don't seem to care that much about the truck quality. George Santa, you should do like 3 or 4 pets a week of driver pets that viewers submit to you. Call it a companion corner. Oh, I have a mini Australian Shepherd puppy. Oh, that's pretty cute too. There's an Australian Shepherd next door. So that's pretty good. That's good too. I'm kind of a cat person, but I'll pet the dog too. I take I-64 around, don't pay the tolls. All right. Yeah, but you know they put the tolls up there and you can't pay them by cash, because when I go to the Mid-America Truck Show, I cross over that bridge, and then I cross the bridge coming back, and then I go online 2 weeks later. This is how you do it. Look for your picture of your car, which is super clear, by the way, of your license plate, and you have like 2 weeks to pay the toll or something like that. Yep, and then you pay it. That's how I do it. It's clear. Why don't they have these kind of pictures at an ATM machine or whatever? They're all fuzzy. This picture, this camera from way up there, when I'm zooming under it, boom, clear as day. Gino, a punch card. Yeah, the prime lawyers have a punch card. They're in court so much. Hey, everybody knows them. They're like walking into Cheers when they walk in the courthouse in Springfield, Missouri there. Hey, Attorney Joe or whatever your name is, right. Crazy. You have to be kidding. You think that Prime has a case against Amazon. Yeah, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. They're two totally different things. They're not tarnishing their name or anything. I don't think so. Stan, there's a Celadon yard jockey truck at my stop in Danville. Really? Are they using it? They could have bought it at auction, because at least that would have got turned in, because it didn't go anywhere. Cassius King, Prime is doing a good enough job of ruining their own name. Yeah, they go, look, we don't need any help. We're already running this thing into the ground. We don't need help from you people at Amazon. If Prime wins the case, Pride will have a case against Prime. Oh, they should all sue each other. Look, your name is only one letter off from our name, and so you're tarnishing our name. They'll probably, and they'd settle. Prime Inc. would just settle it. We'll just settle. The names are pretty clear. Only the blind or illiterate would get confused. The trailers are different. It's a totally different thing. I could tell them apart easily. Prime and Amazon Prime. Prime can get bent. Exactly. When you look at, if you saw the two trailers and I said, which trailer is from Prime Inc., would you know which one it was? That's what I'm saying. Just the average person, just somebody that doesn't know anything about trucking, someone who's never seen a truck before in their life. They've been in their house. They don't come out. You put two trailers and show them and say, which one is a trailer for Prime Inc.? Could they tell the difference? Because that's their legal name, right? You can tell them apart easily. Dang it, I made it. Kangaroo Trucker. All right, hello there. Let's see. The tarnished name argument is dumb. I would try to use a confusing the consumer argument. May not win, but it's a better argument. Chance, I agree. That might be better, but then I think my case would be to the jury. I'd show the two pictures of trailers. I'd say, can you tell the difference? If it's a jury trial, right? Can you tell me which one's Prime Inc.? And if you people who probably are not drivers can tell the difference, then it's not confusing. Chris, it's about saying the word Prime. I've had shippers and receivers mistake when I say Prime because they get from both. They probably get Prime, Amazon Prime, and Prime Inc. But they're not confused because you're saying the word Prime. Prime would have to patent the word Prime like nobody else can use the word Prime. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. We need to get a lawyer on here. Chef Matt, Prime Inc. is just butthurt from always emptied out wallet. Prime is just wasting money. Yeah, emptied out wallet. Well, they get enough truck payments in every week. Cassius King, Jeff Bezos is the devil. I stopped buying stuff from Amazon 5 years ago. That's when they're just getting started. You missed out. I've seen a totally different trucking company called Prime. There's probably other smaller Primes also. And I don't know why they don't sue them. Because there's only 4 trucks or whatever. Nikita, I lived in Darnville, Kentucky for 8 years. I wonder where that is. AJ the Trucker, the industry is changing. Hopefully, would drivers become aware how much we are shortchanged with regards to pay when the zip code to zip code will end. There's not too many more doing the zip to zip. I don't know when it ends. I always say it ends when people don't work at places like that. Really. I mean, honestly, you go zip to zip. Oh, I'm out. I'm out. That's the only way to end it. All the New York City bridges are cashless now. All right. So perfect. Just like the one going to Kentucky. You don't stop at all. Do you still have to stop in New York City? So no toll booth to go to cross the bridges? I would just throw mud over my license plate. They catch you for that. Every once in a while you see an article where they bust somebody for that. Do you think I could patent the word logistics and then sue every company that has written that on their trailer? You say, look, this is confusing. I'm the logistics company. And so we can't have prime floral logistics. Kenneth, you'd need to be illiterate to confuse the prime issue. Yeah, I think so, because they're different. They're totally different, I think. You said cold later in the week. Yes, snow along the Canadian border from Idaho to Michigan. Too early? Well, here we're going to dip down Wednesday night. 3 warm days, and then Thursday night, it's 34 here. So it's time. Get ready for it. I put Firestone Winter Force tires on Trucking Answers Mobile Unit 1. So ready. I'm ready. Driven a Volvo, Mack, and Freightliner automatic. Freightliner was my least favorite. Although is my favorite, the Mack somewhere is in between. Volvo is your favorite. Yeah, I agree. I think the Volvos shift better. The I-shift is smoother. Prime's new motto is we're willing to settle. Not never settle, certainly. Christine, is there a limit on how many times one can take the pre-trip inspection or the driving test? I don't know about that. That might be state by state. When I went to truck school, when the dinosaurs were out, we tested on Thursday. And on Friday was a retest day. You had to wait 24 hours. Now, only maybe 2 people didn't pass, and they passed on Friday. So I don't know if there's a limit on the number of times you can take it. I doubt it, but maybe. There's maybe a waiting time in between them. I don't know. Don't worry about that. You pass that anyway. Don't sweat the I might fail it, right? We're going to go with I'm going to pass it kind of deal. You could see maybe a foreigner from a different country get confused, Kelly. Well, that's interesting. Would it matter? I guess then, okay. All right. So somebody's here from another country and they're confused. Does it matter? I mean, even to say you're right, somebody is confused. How is Prime Inc. harmed by that is my question, I guess. Maybe some Amazon Prime truck hits their car and they think it's Prime Inc. I don't know. I don't know how they're harmed by it, even if somebody's confused. It's not like Coca-Cola where you make another soda product in a similar bottle and call it Coca-Cola Inc. and then sell it and it's not as good and people are going to think it's Coke. That's what I'm saying. How would the confusion here even be a detriment to Prime Inc.? Want to see it, bud? Can a big-time Prime Inc. owner-operator? Oh, yeah. Big time. Lease and use their truck to pull Prime Amazon. I mean, are you a big-time owner-op since you're paying $1,400 a week? You own it 5 years? No, Prime, not liking that. So that was the part of this most recent lawsuit, which was a misclassification lawsuit. Much of the argument was you couldn't pull any other freight. So you're not really independent if you got to only wait for them to give you a load. That's not really independence. And you even had to wait for dispatch. You couldn't even pick from their loads. Remember the drivers that were confused and pick up the wrong trailers? Christina, yeah. You go in there and go, oh, this blue Amazon Prime is probably my Prime Inc. trailer, even though it's a different number. That's true, too. It's easy to tell the difference if Prime Inc. drivers wear helmets. So when they fall, they don't hurt their heads. The Prime jury trial will have 12 Swift jurors. Oh, that'd be something. Oh, by the way, I looked again this week for this Swift merger with Sierra England. Nothing. I don't think there's anything to it. I searched and searched. Nothing. I can't find anything. If Prime is worried about their name, what about Prime Logistics, degree for company running in California? That's interesting. Why don't they go after them too? Prime Logistics, that's something I would think is actually Prime. Oh, I'd see that and go, oh, this is probably a division of Prime. That might be more confusing than Amazon Prime with the smile logo on it, which is Amazon's logo. Jeremy, only the blind and dumb could mistake that, but who do you think we are working with? Well, you never know who's out there looking at it, I guess. Oh, Danville, Kentucky. Oh, all right. That's better. Need a lawyer? Call the law office of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Oh, they work for Bill Handel. Very good. No, actually, who is those guys? They work for Click and Clack, right? Car Talk on NPR. Do you remember a company called PIE? Certainly, Pacific Intermodal Express, International Express. Enjoy a roller wiener from the Topeka, Kansas loves. I love it. I would love to. Driver 48, hey, what's going on? Glad I packed my knee-high socks last time you headed out. You're going to need them for this. Pennsylvania has permanently made all tolls cashless. All the toll takers have lost their jobs. Bryson, all right. Did they at least take the toll booths out so you can just zip right along and fly underneath the overhead thing? This is how society always goes. All the people that made wagon wheels have lost their jobs too. Everybody that makes something eventually loses their job. So, I mean, because you're a toll taker doesn't mean you're guaranteed a job for your whole life. I just saw a show this weekend. The wife and I watched the show. They have a robotic bartender. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. That's a perfect job for a robot. All the drinks are set up. It knows how much of each drink, whatever Tom Collins or whatever it is people order get. And it can mix them perfectly every time. Nobody gets overpoured. It doesn't need any days off. I thought, right, bartender's next out. It doesn't have to do anything. It makes every drink. It works a whole day the bar's open. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't get the Rona. It can wipe off the bar top with a dirty rag. Hey, how are you doing? How's it going, pal? That kind of thing. It can open up a hole in it and dumps pretzels out. Yep. That's true. George Costanza, if you take your dog into Petro on I-70 Missouri exit 28, Oak Grove Petro, it gets spoiled to death by everyone in there. My mini Aussie just got treats and a toy. Yeah, I'm in. I'll pet it too. California is 3 times and you have to get a new permit chance. All right. So each state, maybe they have a limit, but you don't even, people get, kind of get what they expect and what you accept. So don't expect to fail it. And that's easier said than done, but I'm serious. I mean, go in there confident that you will pass it. In Pennsylvania, get 3 attempts to pass on a permit, then you have to retake it. Okay. When I went to trucking school, there was a guy from Africa that took his test 27 times. What state was that? And holy mackerel. I guess once you pass it, though. Do they charge you after 27 times? There is another trucking company called Logistics One. See, that doesn't confuse me with anything, but Prime Logistics, if there's a company called Prime Logistics, that I might believe is Prime doing logistics work. When you used to go over the road, did you prefer the sleeper to be cold? Preferred to be cold. If it's 10, I sleep with the windows down. Well, I don't want it to be that cold, but I do that here too. Sleep always cool, always with a fan, of course. Same as a sleeper. Get it nice and cool, go to bed. I'm in that way, but not 10 degrees with the windows open. Holy moly. Prime Coca-Cola made it like it was back to 1920. Prime Coke. They probably sue them too. Oh no, Prime wins that. What will they rename Prime Rib? Yeah, they're going to sue the Prime Rib people. Hey, you cattle haulers, what's going on with that? It's all about the Benjamins. I know, but how does this benefit Prime? Say they win. Then what? Well, I mean, they don't get any money out of it, really. I don't think Amazon Prime will be forced to change the name on the trailers. And if they lose, Prime Inc. just loses. Chef Matt, hiring incompetent drivers only raises liabilities to keep them on. That's the reason for the lease scam. Well, the reason for the lease scam is they get drivers to make their truck payments for them and tell them that, hey, you're an owner-operator now, just like everybody else. But it's hard to go home. You want a week off, you still owe a truck payment. At least some of these places that do a mileage lease, I've seen some of those. That might be better because you don't have a payment if the truck doesn't move, which is what they comment about. You take a week off at Prime and you got your $1,200 in the hole. Oh, Prime and Amazon could merge, and then it's okay. That's a good idea. Why don't they just say, look, let's just merge? That's not a bad idea. Prime could say, look, we'll merge and we'll do all your logistics for you out of all your places. That's pretty good. Prime Rib Trucking Incorporated. Yeah, everybody will sue everybody. Oh, Pacific Intermountain Express. That's right. Okay. Yeah, PIE. Once in a while, off in a field somewhere, you'll still see a PIE trailer parked somewhere. I had a Prime Inc. lease owner-operator telling on the CB he cleared $256 last year. Wow, $5,000 a week. After all expense training and teaming. See, he's training and teaming. That's where Prime, every once in a while, some angry Prime driver will write to me in crayon or what. They'll write to me and say, well, Mark, I make way more money than, I'm like, yeah, well, you have somebody else that drives your truck half the time. I go, you got to have basically somebody drive your truck. I said, go drive the truck like a normal solo driver and tell me if you're making $5,000 a week net. No way. It's just no way. And to clear 256, how many miles do you put on the truck in a year? 200,000 miles. So in a few years, the truck's ruined. By the end of the lease, it's got 1 million miles on it. What good is that? New York State goes cashless in November. It's not a bad idea. You don't have to stop there. Everybody keeps rolling. The last wagon wheel factory was in Frankfurt, Germany, when wagon wheels went out of fashion. It's never over sausage factory to create rolling frankfurters since they had leftover wheels. That's pretty good. But I don't think because someone has a job that they're entitled to that job for their life or for any specific period of time, like a toll taker. Your job could go anytime. That's why I always encourage people, please never depend on a paycheck for your livelihood. Some hacker's going to make a virus for robots called the Ronavirus. That robot would get it. Would he be able to spread it? I just thought the bartender thing was not a bad idea. It was kind of sitting in the middle of a circle, and it was a round bar, and it could reach all the way, no matter where people were sitting, and serve you the drink right in front of you, and it was the same every time. It saved the place money, no overpouring, right? And you couldn't, get any extra drink or whatever without paying. It's possible to get a CDL a year after passing the test. See, that's state by state. I don't know. Why didn't you get it right then? Go in and get it. Maybe. It's Pacific Intermountain Express, PIE. Got it. Is there a Prime Logistics out of Ontario? There's a Prime Logistics. Is that Prime Inc.? And they should go talk to them because that'd be more likely to be confused. Prime goes to LA. California Bay Area is all cashless. The booths are still in, but no need to stop. Mass confusion. Right. Why don't they take the booths out? If it's going to be electronic, move the booths so nobody gets in an accident or whatever. There was a robotic bartender on a cruise ship I was on. I kept breaking down. It was down for repairs, Bryson. They'll have to figure that part of it out. But I think it's a good idea. I think that kind of automation is a good idea. There's a Swift YouTuber that said he got stuck with a student that it was a foreigner who never drove a car and didn't even have a driver's license. I don't know if that's possible or not. I mean, even Swift, who does import people from overseas and bring them here, I don't know that. How would they put somebody in a truck? You know the liability that they would have if they actually had somebody in a truck that they put in a truck that didn't have a license and never driven and gets in an accident? I mean, it's super huge liability. A Prime Inc. and Amazon Prime trailer next to each other at the fuel island. That's great. How can you tell the difference? You should go ask each person. Go see which one has flip-flops on. That's probably the Amazon Prime driver. PIE is Pacific Intermountain Express. You saw consolidated freightways trailers as well. I personally know where one is in Missouri. Every once in a while, you'll see one of those, too, sitting out in the middle of a field somewhere where somebody's bought it, usually a pup. That's what I see around. And they just use it for storage or whatever. Yeah. Kelly, when they start short miling, you can't make a truck payment, repossess it, and picks up on your dollar and reset you your new soccer. Your new soccer. That must be text to hello, Greg Webb from Wheaton, Illinois. Are you still out there? Yes. Give your ED a call. If you have ED, be sure to give it a call. Amish artisans still make wagon wheels. That's true, but there's not as many, right? So we don't need as many, so they don't have as many. That's no problem. There's still Zippo lighters, but there are not that many people that use them. Jeremy, at this company, you can do freight contract pays 92% of the load. That's a lot. And you bring the truck and trailer, or company gets $250 a day, 2 weeks vacation to start, or company gets $250 a day. Oh, company gets paid $250 a day, 2 weeks vacation to start. 92% of the load is super high. That's like, I see places saying that, like if you have your own authority, you get 92%, where they just basically help you get loads. That would be a really, really high percentage, I think. Paul Vines, hello. No, not Prime Inc., no affiliation. It's Prime Logistics on its own. Exactly. But I think do they use the same type of font and everything too? That'd be something. They still make wooden wagon, and show pleasure carts. What's a show pleasure cart? They're just not mass produced like they were. Exactly. There's always somebody making this stuff, but they're not mass produced. So many people that were doing this lost their jobs. It's understandable. That's how it goes. We can't say, well, because somebody's going to lose their job, we don't want to have technology. I mean, it's not the dark ages. I talked to 3 Million Mile at Werner, George Costanza. Nice. He said there's no way anyone has 9 or 10 million miles. He's correct. It's not possible. I don't know where these companies are getting those stories. They just make it up. You wouldn't live long enough to get 10 million miles. I figured out that the guy could have maybe 6 million miles, would be probably the most you're going to see in a lifetime of driving. Because I personally would only count the legal miles. So when you drove to the farm, you were 12. I mean, if it wasn't legal, no. So legal miles, 6 million in the mid sixes is going to be it if you didn't take any time off. I mean, that's how you could do it, pretty much. That's going to be the most you're going to see. That's somebody that drives their whole life like hard driving, and they look it. Jeremy, I had a student that never drove a car, just a pedal bike and a truck. Well, I guess it's possible, but somebody without a license, I can't see Swift or any company really knowingly putting someone in a truck that doesn't have a license for the truck. The liability would be incredible, and you know they're going to crash or whatever. Zippo lighters are collectible now for the artwork. Exactly. Right. Sorry about that, Mark. I'm using voice to text. Yeah, that's what I figured. I thought, where is that going? I just bought a brand new set of wooden wheels for $1,400 without the cobblers. Okay. Where do those go to? A new set without covers. Give Ed a call, not the ED. Okay. I thought, well, hey, maybe ask, if you have that, maybe ask and see if the purple pill is right for you. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Maybe 5 or 6 million, but that's a 90-year-old driver. Yeah, that's somebody that drove 70 years. That's what I figured. That's somebody that's 91, drove 70 years, solid on the road, went home a couple weekends a year, never saw his wife, and never saw family, had kids, never had them. Always said, oh, well, making money is more important than seeing my kids. I don't know. Maybe it is. But that's it. And you're in the 7 million range, maybe. 7, 8 million, maybe. 5, 6 would be more likely. You're not going to get, this 10 million that KLL, and they never retracted that. They never retracted those guys' miles, and I wasn't the only one that griped at them about it. A lot of people were online saying, then no way, and they stuck with it. They're like, hey, we're in it. We said it, we're sticking with it. And look, you got to give them credit for that. Once you put it out there, you just stick with it all the way to the end. Sketchy hot dogs and tacos, you truckers are brave men. Exactly. Hey, if it's in the roller thing, it's clean. Monday's the best day to get them, too, by the way, because they clean them on Sunday night, Monday morning, for the week. Luke, I'd love to put duct tape over my license plate, go through an electronic toll, then pull over and take it off. What I've always envisioned was going to Radio Shack. I used to commute from Hammond into Chicago every day in my 88.5 Ford Escort. Okay. And so I'd commute into Chicago and go through all these tolls, and I thought, oh, all right, what I need is a small motor that is I could run a wire up to the front with a button that would flip the plate down because the things were up there. Back, Indiana, so I had a back plate. Flip it down before you went through, and then after you went through, you'd flip the plate back up. That way you don't have to arrive with the plate covered. So, but I never did it. I thought, for the $1, I think it was $1.25 then, I'm not doing it. But I thought that might work. And then all the Radio Shacks closed. So that was the end of that. Watching the millennial farmer, his son is driving on the farm, driving the grain cart, but at 4 miles an hour won't make a million at that speed. Yeah. Are they letting this guy drive, this kid? Holy mackerel. At 10, how do you even reach the pedals? So on Facebook, remember we're going to be killed by killer clowns? I'd rather be in that time than this COVID. Yeah, what happened to the murder hornets? Those were out, and I guess the public never really caught on to that, so they had to bring something else up. Well, the public not scared. Let's bring something else to scare them. Very few people would realistically do that. Kyle, exactly. Most people don't drive 70 years over the road. They just don't. Wonder if I could rent some wooden wheels for my Peterbilt. It might be smoother on some of these roads. I need your email to show you a picture of a show pleasure cart. I think it's on the screen right now. Mark Larry Miles is real, and Paul Bunyan is real too. Oh, look, whatever you see that's real, I'm in. My black diabetic senior female kitty named Swoosh says hi. Oh, that's cute. Going to bed now. Got to be up for LTL line haul tonight at 8:30. Nice. Later, be safe and stay away from the good buddies. Always. And go pet that cat. That's very nice. I went to a trucking school for a major carrier when I started. There was a student, no license and no paperwork, no English. He was from Mexico. They gave him his license. That's crazy. I mean, no company. That's at a school, and that's bad enough. But once you get to a company, Swift or any company, they're not going to put him in a truck with no license because they're the ones on the block for that. I worked at an ETV out of Wyoming, turn of the century. Hardest I ever ran. We did 180,000 a year. That's a lot of miles. Could you do that, though, for 70 years straight is what I'm asking you. You know, would you be able to do that for 70 years? I doubt it. Once you get in your extreme upper 30s, it's tough to put down 180,000 miles a year. Believe me, I don't do anywhere close to that. I went to a sketchy guy my dad paid for when I was in my 20s to get a CDL. He handed me a book to study, and that was the last I saw of him. That sounds kind of weird. Hey, go meet this guy in this alley or whatever. Cot Trucking is where it's at. I'm sure I mispronounced them. Weekend driving Bernie that could last 70 years. Exactly. I mean, that's the only way to do it, right? There's 70 years. I guess there are people that do it, but most people, and that's what they said about this pay raise, that the number one reason that pay is going up is because over COVID, a lot of drivers just said, forget it. They either retired or went local. That was number two. One was retirement. People just didn't come back. Number two, they realized that, you know, they could die on the road or their family could need them. And so they went to local jobs. That was the number two reason. So those top two reasons. And so road job pay is going up all over the place. That's what was in the article. Hey, Square, I got to go. I'll see you in 15 seconds after your Sunday rant. All right. Thanks for making Mondays feel like Fridays. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. I think the Killer Clowns was just a fad, though in retrospect, it does sound better than COVID's. There was a fad years ago about LSD lick and the stick tattoos that scared people. Really? Those little ones you used to get out of Cracker Jack or whatever? I remember licking that and sticking it in I got in trouble for that. My mom made me wash it off immediately. No tattoos for you. Now people don't know it. Just under my collar, I'm completely tattooed all the way to my feet, but people don't realize that. Just to show her. Killer bees and earthquakes in search of, I'm still terrified. Oh, in search of, who remembers that show, right? Leonard Nimoy. I've heard good things about Hirschbach lines. Well, maybe as a company driver. They'll fly you in on a company jet, right? No way I could or would do it now at 42. I do like 100,000 now and make more money. See, that's the thing. You realize over time that you don't have to do it as many miles to make more money. You get to a better job on the road even, and you can work less and make more. And that's much better. For the guy that had 10 million miles, he was taking freight to the moon. I know. He was just nonstop driving. Now, I think I gave him every February 29th off, and he said to do about 500, I remember 500 or 600 miles a day, every day, and got 1 day off every 4 years. I've heard that the 3-bunk England truck actually create a stasis field around the 3 bunks so you don't age while you're sleeping. At that rate, you can probably drive till 110. Oh, you know what? It might be worth going to England if they actually had that. Student got kicked off because he didn't understand traffic signs. He's always getting lost, didn't understand GPS and wording on exits. Yeah, it's a requirement. I've been called many names in the email about it, but it is a requirement in the United States on your CDL that you can speak English, okay? And you have to be able to communicate. I think how they're worded. Communicate, to an officer to where you can be understood. You have to be able to read bills, that kind of thing, and road signs. It's a requirement. Werewolves and COVID. Who do you figure? Exactly. Alexander, I may not say much all the time, but I enjoy Mondays. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it, and thank you for being here. I want to drive a couple weeks at a time. I don't want to live in a house. Where could I live for a week out of the month? I want to save money about 5 years. Why not just live in the truck all the time? I mean, if you want to do that, just live in the truck. Don't get a house. Don't get an apartment. Come home once a year to see your family and stay at a hotel. Seriously, sell your car. That's the way to do it, right? Let's be honest. That's the best way to save money on that rate. Go live in the truck. Get a company that'll let you just stay in the truck and come home every once in a while, go to a motel. Don't come, otherwise this 1 week a month, you might as well just stay in a extended stay motel. But that's going to be $1,000, 700, what, 750 a week or whatever. Those 3-bunk trucks can hold 4. One sleeps on the floor. Yeah, I think 2 drive at a time. That way they both get credit for it. Ric Flair is here. Ric Flair. If you saved money for 5 years in a truck, you know, even if you're only making 50 and you saved 30 grand a year, that's $600 a week. I mean, that's a lot of money. Even with basic high school math, 30 grand a year times 5 years is like over $100,000. So that would be 150 grand, right? Is a lot of money. You could come then to Lafayette, buy a house for cash and a car, and have money left over. You could then get a local job if you wanted to, live in your house that you bought for cash, have a paid off car, and you're 26 or 5 plus, however old you are. Maybe cheated his paper logs and drove 1,000 miles a day. I could understand that. Look, even years ago, okay, I get that. He was cheating, doing 1,000. You can't do that long term. You can't do too many 1,000 miles a day, you know, and drive 70 years. You'll be dead when you're 45 years old doing that. Those are long days. So, and this guy had been driving a long time. No, I don't think he could do it long term. There are motels you can get for like $300 a week. Oh, that sounds great. $40 a night. $40 a night. Do you bring your own throwing knives there? Because you're going to need them. If I could get away with my pot I would definitely truck on. Oh, right. Yeah, they don't allow that. Someday that might happen. But I think you're going to have to wait quite a while for that. It's not going to work. You're going to have to also cut all your hair off because they're going to change that. That's my plan to buy a house. So don't have a house right now. If you're going to do this, just go live in that truck. Stay in the truck the whole time. Just have a phone bill. That's it. When you come home, just get a motel and rent a car. Use Enterprise. They'll pick you up. Do you think CRST will lose the upcoming lawsuit? Oh, I haven't thought about CRST lawsuit in a while. The one that they had with Swift, they won. So I don't know about that. The one with Swift, they won. They beat Swift on it. Footlicker, $40 a night equals a stab shack. Exactly. I mean, $40 a night. What kind of motel are we talking about here? We gotta. That's the other thing. Okay, gotta upgrade your life a little bit. You have to stay at the place that you expect, like you should stay in. And $40 a night is not going to cut it. $40. I mean, maybe you could stay at a place for $700 a week. I could see that. $100 a night. That's better. Jeremy, I was at Banning about 20 years ago on random inspection there with some Spanish guy. She was yelling at them about overweight, and the other guy started explaining it in Spanish. The DOT officer, they explained it to him in Spanish? That shouldn't happen at all. Other than you're being arrested, they ought to be able to say that. Grabbed his license, no English on the CDL. So you're allowed to come here like from another country and do stuff. So, but driving, he's got to know English. He's got to know English. Is it miles or are they getting confused with kilometers? Many people, there was like a Facebook page talking about it and stuff, and they said, oh, is this kilometers? Is that the story with this? I mean, KLM got sued by KLM. Who remembers that? Okay. Years ago, KLM was called KLM Trucking. KLM Airlines sued them and won because they had the exact same name and made them change it. That's why it's KLLM Trucking now. Another suit, but they won, but it's the exact same name. What's going on with the 2019 Colorado 40 vehicle pileup case? Nothing. That's going to be a while. With the COVIDs, the courts were backed up. It's not going to be next year at least before anybody even goes to court probably. Why do people shy away from the subject of penal colonies? Yeah, I don't know. Probably from the same ED problem. But I don't know why you would shy away from that. Christine, I have a car and home paid for, but I want to save for 4 or 5 years and buy an RV and travel. That's pretty good. What's a good rate for local in the Salem or Corydon area? Well, down there, probably not a lot, right? 20? Probably $20 an hour. In Corydon, there's nothing there. You're going to have to go somewhere, right? You're going to have to travel to a major city to get any kind of money, I think. How close is that to Grandview, Indiana? Do you know where that is? I don't think Corydon is close enough to Grandview. Massachusetts, you can only take the test in English. Who would think of liberal Massachusetts? I'm surprised in that state they don't have the test in 40 languages. ETV 1,000 miles was average. It was 6,000 miles every week. Well, when you're 25, all right, we could do that. But now in my extreme upper 30s, those 1,000-mile days are behind me. I probably could do 1,000 miles a day, but then I need a day to recuperate from it. Because that's a long day. Driving the whole day is a long day. I remember that, going from Walcott to St. George, Walcott, Iowa, and all at once. And that was a long drive, but that was a long time ago. And I couldn't do it. You've not heard of it? Okay, it's about 30 miles south, probably 30 to 35 miles south of Jasper, Indiana, is where Grandview. I know there's a local job there. I don't know what it pays because I've looked at it in the ad and I have never called them. But I don't know exactly where it is in relation to Corydon. It's probably 40. Grandview is also probably 45 miles east of Evansville. Maybe how close are you to Evansville? I mean that'd be the thing. That'd be the place to go. There's Dayton Freight in Evansville. That's what they were advertising, 24 plus overtime past 8 and 40 down there. Absolutely. So that might be the way to do it. Let's see. Something popped up here. Let's see. What's that? You could do it now with the exemption. You could. That is true. Depending on what you're hauling and if your company will allow you to, you could do it. Right now, there's people that doing that. Absolutely. So I hear you. That's true. So it would be legal to do it. But do you want to do it every day? I guess you could through the end of the year. You're 90 minutes from Evansville. Oh, all right. That's too far then. What about Bloomington? McDonald's, Burger King, Hardee's, or Rally's? Oh, on the road? Well, Hardee's is the best of those, I think. Rally's don't have enough with truck parking. I love their fries. And we always get that when we go visit Southern Indiana because there's no Rally's here in Lafayette. So when we go down to Jasper, there's a Rally's there. But otherwise, yeah, Hardee's. Guacamole burger? Can't beat it. Chester's is disgusting. Nobody should eat there. I want to tell you about this Hyundai truck, too. Okay, so this Hyundai fuel cell cab over. 250-mile range. Here's the numbers right now. 475 horsepower, but 2,500 torques. How about that? 2,500 torques out of 475 horsepower. Roy, aren't we there? Oh, we're getting there. About the same from Bloomington. You're in the middle of no place. So I don't know on, those are the towns that I've looked into for stuff. So I don't know where else there would be. But I've noticed that down in Jasper, right, nothing was paying anything, really. So I've considered, I may have to commute into Evansville. You're 35 minutes from Louisville? Yeah, what about Louisville? If it's that, that kind of town, if it's a toddling town, that's the way to do it. Seriously, I mean, a half hour to a large town like that? Yeah. I think that's right. You're further over that way, Corydon. In the West, Hardee's is called Carl's Jr. That's correct. So this thing will hold 35 kilograms about of hydrogen. Right now, as I looked it up today, it costs $57 about to fill it up. To go 250 miles. That gives you 43.4 cents per mile. An average semi getting 8 miles to the gallon today at $3 a gallon would cost you 37.5 cents a gallon without fuel surcharge to run. So right now, the hydrogen is more money. And the problem is, it takes about a minute to put a kilogram of hydrogen in a vehicle. How about that? A kilogram of hydrogen per minute. So it holds 35 kilograms of hydrogen. Keep that in mind at the fuel island. There's your break. Filling up your hydrogen-powered Hyundai cab over. Oh, Trucker Beetle Bailey. Freightwaves has that up. That's pretty good. I'm glad they caught up on something there. That's good. They're talking about that Hyundai fuel cell truck. I thought it's interesting. I thought it's an interesting idea. No emissions. It'll satisfy California. That's why they're bringing it here, I'm sure. Because all you get's water out of the tailpipe. They don't know. California doesn't care about the hydrogen's got to be trucked into the facility and made at a, where they have to suck hydrogen out of the air, however they do that. Somebody's got to go in a room and grab all these little hydrogen molecules, atoms, and throw them into a big container and shove them in there so that high pressure. I don't have a lot of science knowledge. Hats off to the first guy that figures out how to do this in his life in the hydrogen truck. Yeah, exactly. How to do IFTA. Well, you wouldn't have an IFTA. I don't know what they'll do about IFTA. You're not buying diesel fuel. So there's only 11 commercial hydrogen fueling stations in the United States, I noted. Although you could build one at your company, especially if you used it as a local truck. What was the job you said local making 97? Well, I've noticed a couple of jobs like that. But in Indianapolis, which I don't know, you're probably pretty far from that, was Transforce, which I'm always surprised at. It is a temp service, and they've run an ad on Craigslist for $27 an hour plus overtime for 60 hours a week, home every day out of Indianapolis. That's a long drive, though. But that'd be Transforce. They may have something in Louisville, too. They're all over the country. They'd be worth calling. They'd be worth probably calling because that job at 60 hours is 90 grand. I'll leave trucking if they make me go, but that to that Hyundai cab over. Well, it's a 250-mile range. You won't have to go far, at least. Just followed 2 JB Hunt Jokers drag racing a 2-mile incline in New York, side by side. Oh, where are the cops? Yeah, they're never around for that. I'm sure they thought it was hilarious, and they're on some secret JB Hunt channel that they probably get on. They probably hand them yellow walkie-talkies to do that. That kind of stuff is aggravating. And it's not the company's fault. It's that goofball in the left lane. What are we doing here? He shouldn't be trying to pass somebody that he can't pass. I get this problem coming up 70. So there's a couple of hills coming between Terre Haute and Indianapolis, and there's always some goober that'll go past me before these hills. Maybe they don't know they're there. Most days coming back, I'm empty. Okay, but people don't know that. So I just got the cruise set, and they're zooming past me, and then they just fall all the way back there. And then they're going 45 miles an hour or whatever. A couple more miles. By the time they catch up to me, there's another hill. There's a few hills there. And this goes on a couple times a night. It's kind of funny. Drove a cab over with a little 4-inch shift lever. Oh, so you had the one with the motor, the engine, right here. The later ones had a flat floor, but you had the one with the engine, which is right next to you. It gives you a little flat spot to put your guacamole burger from Hardee's right there and your wieners. And put them right there in front of you. And it's got just a little shift knob on it. Yep. You have to climb over that. So I always leave my shoes in that driver's hole and then get in the sleeper that way so that mud never went back there. They'll just tax your registration for every mile in each state you drive to cover the loss in diesel fuel. Oregon did a similar thing. In Indiana, they have a fee here to, when you buy a hybrid car, there's an extra fee on your plate, and an electric car gets an even higher fee. So Teslas pay an extra fee. Prius owners pay a fee. They should pay another fee for buying a Prius. But that they do all that stuff here, yeah. They do have it in Louisville. I'd call them. I'd call them and tell them you saw that job in Indianapolis, and you're curious if they have anything closer to you in Louisville, and see what they say. It's worth a call because you don't have to do anything beyond that. Transforce. I don't know what their number is. They run ads on Craigslist. They'll use your odometer reading and tax you on that. Trucker Hershey. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I wouldn't mind doing that in a car because I put so few miles on the car. Just the one I have the Winter Force tires on just got an oil change last week. 1,750 miles since January. Kyle, Sierra England is the best company ever. Can't believe anyone trash talks on them. I know. I mean, they're out there trying to do what they can, put as many people through training as possible, as fast as possible. They get about the same lawsuits as every other large company, but hey, they're probably all not true. And they love people over there. That's what they are. They're a loving people. They love as you walk in the door, I think it says, we love our end users. As you walk in the door at England. They pay a lot less than Prime. I will say that. Prime has got them on pay for company driver. If you stay at Prime as a company driver, it's not a terrible way to go. But all these places push you into this lease thing, and then people at Prime do better as a company driver, certainly. Oh, YRC was 512 this week. How about that? Last week, at this same bad time, it was 432. They're up quite a bit. PAM's 41.93. They're up. And US Express have it $10 even. They're up from $9. We should have bought US Express on April 12th or 14th, right in there. It was like $3. If we'd have put a few $1,000 in it, that could be $10,000, $12,000 now. Isn't that something? Any updates on Prime? No further updates on it. All their lawyer said, their legal counsel, is that, oh, we corrected the error and it was just a misunderstanding with the dispatcher, but no way. No way do you send a message out to 40,000 people. Apparently that's what they said it went out to, all these people, and saying don't sign up for this. And they should be forced to put a press release out. It was in the Springfield newspaper. The Springfield newspaper covered it. Springfield, Missouri newspaper. England is just swift in red trucks. You were a company driver at Prime, Little Narm. What did you think about it? I mean, the pay there, not terrible. And why are you not there now at Prime? I'm always curious why people leave. There's different reasons. It's not always bad to leave. Some crybaby somewhere is throwing a temper tantrum over taxing imports to encourage domestic-made products. You can't compete with a product not made in the United States when somebody only gets that's what they used to get in the auto industry in Mexico. That's what always aggravated me. They were getting $4.15 an hour on average with no benefits. So when some company, GM or whatever, or Ford makes Fusions there, and MKZs, they make Lincolns there, moves production to Mexico from a union worker here that's making good money and benefits, how are you supposed to compete with that? And say, oh, well, he shouldn't make that much money here. What should he make? What should the guy in Detroit make, or woman, making a Lincoln? $4.15 an hour and no benefits? That's the only way to compete. It's crazy. It's crazy. Alexander, no wieners for me. Casey's Pizza today. All right, pizza not bad. Sometimes I stop in and get a pizza on the way. I'm sure searing, but get a hot dog pizza. How about that? I'm sure searing England is great. I'm sure COVID-19 is a comfortable experience. For some people it is. I've got to say, the president got it. He's fat, according to him. Eats McDonald's all the time. He's good. Now, I will say he probably has a better health insurance plan than most people have. But he still lived through it. So, it was interesting. Got helicoptered to the hospital right away. Oh, you got tired of tarps and coils. Why didn't you switch at Prime to the refrigerated division? From what I understand, the refrigerated trailers do not have to be tarped. That's what they actually say in their ad. No tarping required on any of our refrigerated trailers. So, I mean, if you didn't want to tarp and you're already at Prime, I just think it's easier to stay at a company. So why didn't you switch divisions rather than hitting the road? For the hydrogen fuel cell truck to drive long haul, they'd have to hire a hydrogen tanker to follow you around. They'll need bigger tanks, right? But they're only holding 35 kilograms. So a couple of more tanks will give you 500 miles. And if they could make them a little bit bigger, I don't know. It weighs a lot less than the fuel that you put in it weighs. But remember, that's from what I was looking up, how long does it take to fuel hydrogen? Around 1 kilogram per minute at a fueling station. Cars only hold 4 kilograms. The Mirai from Toyota, it holds 4. So you're only there a few minutes. But this thing, 35 gallons or 35 kilograms. That's a half hour to fuel up your truck after you've only driven 250 miles. Now that's from empty, so it won't take you that long to fill it up. But still, you don't want to sit there 20 minutes. Have you ever heard of Super Ego Holdings out of the Chicago area? No, but it sounds like it's from West Chicago somewhere, and it is an Eastern European-based company that is 1099. Super Ego Holdings. Any place that says holdings. England should put a tent on the catwalk for the 5th bunk. They're probably trying to, look, believe me, they're figuring out how to put the most people in there. Oh, you didn't like refrigerated. Okay. You went to Crete. What do you think about Crete? Do you think it's better than the deal you had at Prime? Because Crete also has a refrigerated division. Do they not make you switch back and forth? The way Crete presents it is like you have the benefit of having both freights. You'll always have something to do. And I see Crete pulling the Schaefer, and, you'll see, everybody pulling dry van and refrigerated. So Nicholas says they would have a nationwide hydrogen fuel stations at fast refueling, but doesn't elaborate. Yeah, they say a lot of things. They say their truck runs too. But then they did a video where the truck's literally rolling down a hill. It's not a running truck. That's ridiculous. Cash King Trucking, 5 stops down and 2 to go. You are ripping off those stops. That's a week for me. You're 5 stops. You've done what I'll do the whole week. 5 stops in 1 day. They better pay good, which I'm sure they do, or you wouldn't do them. But that is a lot of stops. 5 stops in 1 day. Considering it's an ELD, you don't have to follow it though. That's true, but still, you're still doing good to get 5 stops off in 1 day like that. That's really good. Ripping off those stops. I work for a holding company as a W-2, Trucker Beetle Bailey. You're there. Not every place that is a holding company in the East Chicago area is one of these type of companies. But for some reason, all these 1099 European countries usually start a trucking company up in the east side of Chicago, or the west side of Chicago, West Chicago, Bolingbrook, and all. I don't understand it. That's where they're always based. So that's the first thing I'm immediately worried. Oh, it's 1099, and so they've given everybody else a bad name. Just call them, Right, your place is excellent. I will say that. It's another one of these super good paying jobs that people don't know about, really. People sit at a place that doesn't pay anything. There are really good paying road jobs. There's plenty of people on here at them that are making good money, being treated well, with good equipment. There's lots of them around. JJ the Trucker on his channel thinks Prime Lease is great. Okay, I guess I don't know who JJ the Trucker is. The lease is super expensive. It's super expensive. I guess you could ask him this. Look, I get 5 weeks of vacation a year, okay? So if I took all that off at once, I wouldn't owe the company any money when I came back. I'd get paid and not owe them anything. I don't take it all at one time. I like to take a day or two at a time to space it out. But I wouldn't have to owe anything. So ask him if he took off 5 weeks, the same as me. I'm the company driver. Who comes out better by taking 5 weeks a year off? That's the question. If he did all that, that's the thing about a prime lease as a solo. If you took off the same time as a company driver, worked only as much as a company driver, you would not make any more than a company driver. He may have to have a student or whatever. I don't know who it is, so I don't know if he has students. You saw a TL GP Transco truck. They do exist. I never saw one. It's funny. Everyone, I saw that dark blue one, and then GP Transco says, oh, there's only 5 of those. And that's the truck I see. Like they're not purposely doing that. They purposely do that now. Now they're just messing with me. Before it was just an accident. Now I'm totally being sandbagged by them for doing that. Oh, they're all in Elk Grove Village. Right, that's right. Elk Grove Village, 1099, also another Chicago suburb. That's true. That's very true. This is the only place I've ever seen one. And I think these pictures are photoshopped. That's what I think. I don't even know if it's a real picture of them. So not sure. GP Transco. I love you guys though. Even if you won't let me see one of your nice trucks. I made the same as I did in flatbed. All right, I've been here a month, but I heard that some drivers may do both reefer. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, they kind of put that out there, Creed, and say, look, we have freight in lots of different divisions, so you don't have to sit always. You might get a refrigerated load next time so that you're not sitting, which I think is not a bad idea. So if you made the same, you're doing a lot less work. So that's the idea. Less work, more money. And look, I did flatbed for about a year. It's a lot of work. Okay, I've done, and then I did a curtain side years later, which is less work, but still work. And the flatbed over the road, you were dirty all the time. The tarps are dirty. You got to climb up on loads, which probably there's all kinds of rules now, which we didn't have then. I remember a guy, I just got lifted a forklift up to the top of a load with a tarp and got off a pallet on top of it. They probably don't let you do that now. It's a lot of work. It is. Last Thursday, I saw someone back into someone else at night. Sweet. I was on the fuel line and heard it. The person took off. It was KLLM. How do they catch those people? Well, hopefully the driver that got backed into had a dash cam. That is one way to do it. Always have your dash cam running so that you can always see what's happening to your truck. Now, if it wasn't at a spot where the dash cam, that's what insurance is for, really, right? You should still report it. The white Volvo crew, Dave Johnson. I see that one. There's especially a white Volvo that's got like a brush guard on front of it that I see a lot on 70. Must have some regular run for them. You either work for Creed or Schaefer. They give you whatever tractor's available. Red or blue, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and so you pull whatever. And I think that's a good idea. There's nothing wrong with that. You do over the road, but no one will allow you 5 cats and 2 dogs. Yeah, Christina, the only way you're doing that is buying your own truck. And I would say that's a lot of animals in a truck. I'll tell you that. That's not enough for a house, but that's too many for a truck. Nathaniel, Super Eagle Holding is out of Bensonville. All right. That's right next to Elk Grove Village. How convenient is that? Trucker Beetle Bailey, GP Transco has T680s now also. Yeah, Red Monkey Trucking, who has been on here before, and they have a YouTube channel as well, are teaming in one of them, although I've not seen one, though. Drummer to driver, I'll send you a picture of your... Okay, I'd love to see a real one. This load is paying really good. Cash is King Trucking, 6,000 Chicago to Atlanta. 2 pickups and 7 drops. So you're in Atlanta dropping. How many days will it take you to do that load? I'm assuming it's a Friday to Monday. Yeah, I'm curious. How many days will that load take to make that? What is your opinion on the Keep Trucking ELD not updating? I don't understand it. When we were talking about this earlier, I don't get it. I just assumed, I guess, that these places would be totally up on it. Look, I'm not anybody special. If I can go on the FMCSA site and look at the rules, okay, and figure them out myself, people that do this for a living should be able to do the same thing. And you want that right, because you shouldn't want your customers, which are companies for them, and owner-operators, if they're buying it, to get tickets or to show violation on there. It should be correct, because say it's wrong. Say it's wrong, and then you got to explain to the officer. It's a big problem. I don't understand it. Everybody that has a Keep Trucking ELD should find out their email, which is probably info@keeptrucking or something like that. Whatever it is, look it up and email them and say, what is going on? Why do you people not know what you're doing? You're paying them money, and they're wrong. That can get you a ticket. Trucker Hershey, you sent a T680 for teams? Sweet. Is it a bigger sleeper than the Cascadia? 4 days, Saturday to Tuesday. So 2,000 a day only? Like, that's nothing. My 6 stop would have took you today. You would have gotten all 7 stops today and would have been a 3-day load. That's really good. Even 4 days. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 2,000 a day. Not bad. Now, try that at Prime. That's the thing of it. You know, you just can't do that unless you go get the truck yourself and put it on at a place that is going to pay you well. And you know what you're doing, basically, because you really need to manage your time. When you're doing 9 total stops, it's almost 2 weeks of work for me. You got to really be on top of everything to get them off, keep the temps and everything. But then the success is cash is king for you, right? That's how it works out for you. That's what you want to do. If you're owning a truck, you might as well make money. If you don't make any more money than a company driver, what's the point of owning a truck? If you can just make the same as a company driver, why own the truck? You're not getting the benefit of owning the truck. You should make at least 150% of a company driver. At least. Where did that go off to? Oh, right. Technically, you could run paper logs if your ELDs are not working properly. Yeah, I don't know if it's not working. Yeah, is it compliant? I actually thought about that too. It's not happening at Prime, right? Is it compliant? Is your ELD compliant? Maybe. It's not a violation to not be able to split. So that's not a violation. You are allowed to split, but you don't have to split. So I don't know if the ELD is not functioning or it just doesn't show the correct hours. I wonder what your company, if you're a company driver, you should ask your company, hey, should I run paper logs since this thing doesn't work? Some company must be using this. I was going to email Keep Trucking. Oh, do you use that? But I'm not logging anything, right? So it doesn't make any difference to you. Till the beginning of next year, so you don't have time to email them. So you use the Keep Trucking ELD. I'm sure you would agree, though, that they should be up on the hours of service, certainly. But for you, what's the difference? What is yours all just covered with dust? Or just throw it in the back? Have you heard anything recent on forced teaming with the mega carriers? Been meaning to ask that. Kyle, well, some of them do that. Well, what people write to me and say that they do is you get out of training or whatever and you're ready to go on your own. They go, oh, yeah. Yeah, Kyle, here's the thing. We don't have a truck right now for you to go solo. So we're going to send you back home on the Hound, on the Crack Hound. And it's going to be maybe a few weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. But you can go with this guy over here. Who's twitching. You can go with Twitch guy. And you guys can team. So right now. So what, they're not really forcing you, really? Because they'll say, well, we didn't force anybody. But what are you going to do otherwise? Go home and sit for 6 weeks? Because you know that if you quit, then they go, hey, you owe us all that money or whatever. So that's a problem. I took it to our break with the Keep Trucking the first day of the new rules, and it froze your hours. I tried it again last night and it didn't work. That's a problem. Everybody that's being affected by it should email them and say, what are you doing? Especially now, it's a couple of weeks past the hours of service. They should be on top of that stuff immediately. 50,000 as an owner operator is 150 or 200% of company driver. That's true. Look, and from the sad letters that I get, sometimes it is true. I'm getting once in a while. I'll get somebody that sends a $330 check week after week from a mega carrier, and they're like, "I'm going to lose my car and my house. What should I do now? I didn't come out here to make $300 a week, you know." And then those same companies are the ones that complain they can't get drivers. People usually around the holidays. I get this, especially this year. Friday is Christmas is on a Friday. There's going to be people that sit Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and not go out again until Monday at a truck stop and not have a load and not get paid anything, and that isn't right. I stopped fueling and tried to chase down the truck, but he was gone. I only got one of the numbers and wasn't even sure that. I told the poor driver, "Sorry." Yeah, there's nothing more you can do. Check and see if the truck stop's got cameras. If not, he calls the police and his company, and that's it. They write it up and your insurance. Just be like a hit or run on your car. That's why you should have comprehensive insurance on your car unless you can afford to replace your car with your own money. Efren Zalas, cool channel. Leaving to repair dry vans to help my bottom line. Awesome. Can't find any manuals. Know anyone who can help? I have 120 trailers. Wow. Anybody know where a trailer manual? I assume they're online. You ought to be able to print them off online. Everything else is online. If people's picture of their lunch is online, the manuals to these trailers should be on there. Some guy tried to sell me crack this morning at 4 a.m. That's about the right time in Atlanta. Right in broad daylight. Well, broad dark light. What's the world coming to? It was pretty good stuff. That's what I'm saying. I mean, look, this guy's out thinking. He's a hustler. He's thinking. He's like, 4 a.m. people are going to want to get up. They want to get their day moving. And really, you need to get up at 4 a.m. to get around traffic. So you can't fault him for that. You really can't. The guy in Chicago, when I used to live in Chicago, this was way back when I drove for recycled fibers. I would have to go in Chicago. I went to Milwaukee first and did a drop and hook and picked up a trailer and one gigantic roll of paper, which was the size of the trailer. Went to a place in Chicago, and I'd get there at 1 or 2 in the morning, and I got off, I can't remember, Western Avenue, Cicero, off of 290 somewhere. And would go down. There were a few ladies standing around, presumably selling whatever they're selling. But then when I'd go in the dock, a couple blocks over, this guy was always there, and he had a suitcase full of watches. He'd always come up to me. He's a nice guy. "Hey, I got a watch. Do you need any jewelry?" He had all kinds. Oh, it's real. I'm looking at it. Rolex. Wow, $200. Wow. Oh yeah, it's totally real or whatever. So, don't know. It might have been real. Never got a watch. At least he was a nice guy. He didn't have any crack, which I probably could have used because it was late at night. It's not just trucking salespeople and farm labor people are work 1099. I know, and none of it is correct. And it's all wrong. It's not enforced at all. 4 a.m. at broad daylight. Maybe in Atlanta the sun comes up earlier because it's closer to the sun. I don't know. I went to public school. Major carrier in Los Angeles and Laredo had people waiting 4 to 6 weeks for a trainer. That's correct. 6 years ago, they just took a van to another carrier. That's the way to do it. And sometimes they'll do that. They'll say, look, and they shouldn't put you in if they don't have a trainer ready for you. Some of them do that right out of school, and then they're like, go home, and there'll be a trainer in a few weeks. But you came there to work to make money. People have to make money to live, it turns out. You can't just sell watches at night all the time. That's not any way to do it. Todd is here. It's 85 in Benton, Arkansas. All right. It's about 73 here today. It's going to be nice for the next few days. So it's good to see you. And so, but I do have to head out today to see what my company has in store, which will be the same thing. But that's how that goes. Anyway, let's see, where did this go off to? Oh, I forgot to talk about, don't forget about GP Transco, of course. They say they have teal trucks. By the way, the truck color is not guaranteed. So join the teal revolution. And if you need a specific kind of truck, please call first, okay? Great Plains Trucking. Hey, they're going to give you food for your face and money for your wallet. How about that? By the way, none of these places pay me. For new people or people on here, I don't get paid for any of this. Even this live show is ad-free. So I just like the places, so I put a thing up there. It's one of people. Schuster's giving out a pay raise right now. Okay, coming up here in a few weeks. So give them a call. Get in on some new money at Schuster, treating people right over there. Have you ever thought of working at Napa? How about that truck? How about that? Fleet Nav Systems was here today, which I appreciate. Thank you for coming in, man. And let's see. Oh, Cash is King Trucking has done more stops today than I'll do all week. He does more before 4 a.m. than most people do all day. It's good to see you. He's got a great channel over there. He's live all the time. Go check him out, right? So let's see here. And Jay, of course, is always available at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. How about that, Jay? Go check Jay out. You want to haul a car? Gracie, also available at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. Maybe one of the only times that she's awake during her 2 hours of wake time each day. That's how she rolls, of course. So let's see. Oh, today first was Misty, right? But people didn't see that, but she was first. Then Christina, thank you for being here, of course. Trucker Hershey was here today. GP Transco was not here today. Trucker Hershey, right? Christina, thank you for that. I appreciate it. It's been a great show. Got a few of the Bolexes in the day. Well, yeah. You know, for all I know, they were real. Maybe he's just a Rolex reseller. I'm not sure. Cash just can't tell the difference between sun and a street light. Yeah, exactly. That's when you work so much. But stacking the cash, as that's what the kids say, right? George Wilson, thanks for being here today. Wilbon, it's good to see you. Let's see. Efren was here. Wants those manuals. I think they're online. Everything else is online. PDFs, right? George Costanzo's here. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Our day is coming up soon again. 2 months, a little over 2 months, right? I think you know what I'm saying there. Bounty Boy 8, hello there. It's good to see you. Joe was here. Right, Joe. I like it. Simple. Little Narm, hello there. Drummer to driver. Trucker Beetle Bailey, it's good to see you today. Nathaniel. Where am I at here as I go through a few here? Oh, where did I go? Up and up. Oh, Kelly was here today, right? Luke, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alexandra, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming in today. Chef Matt was here preparing good dishes and good info. Oh, wow, I got that pretty fast. Roy Rodriguez, hello there. But my company always makes me come in every day. I don't understand it. Day Cab Gear Jammer, and thanks for that. I didn't even know it was a holiday today. I have no idea. It's not a paid holiday for me. Probably most people it's not a paid holiday, and that means there won't be any mail today. It probably is a federal holiday. Good, I won't have to check the mail. That's easy. Like, that's my whole day is should I check the mail today? Paul Harris was here. It's good to see you. Jeremy Hanna, right? And let's see. Oh, Footlicker, well, that has to be in there. Nikita, thank you for coming in. But it is time to head out to my place. Will they still have me? Don't forget to join OIDA. Look, it's not great. I'm not some OIDA huge supporter, but I do think it's better than nothing. I mean, we have to come together somewhere. It's the only way to lobby Washington for what you want, really. There's nothing else anywhere close to that size. Because that's just how it is, right? So, otherwise, thanks for being here. There's going to be more videos this week. I'll check out the teal truck pictures, if there are any. Right? And we'll see you on the next show, a video, live show, everything. Thanks for being here. Cash is King Trucking will probably be live in a few minutes. Thanks for being here.